Admiral Kim stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, watching the stars through the main viewing screen. The ship had been traveling through empty space for 3 days now, far from Earth and the other human colonies. For over 3,000 years, humanity had stayed in the outer parts of the galaxy, mostly ignored by the powerful alien races that controlled the center worlds. The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of the ship's engines. Kim had served in the human fleet for 20 years, but this was the first time they had gone so far from home. Most alien species thought humans were too primitive to matter. They had faster ships, better weapons, and technologies that seemed like magic to human scientists. "Admiral," called Lieutenant Park from her station. "We're getting a signal." Kim turned toward the communications officer. "What kind of signal?" "It's strange, sir. It's coming from multiple directions, and it's not in any human language." Park's fingers moved quickly over her controls. The main screen changed from showing stars to displaying waves of radio signals. The patterns were complex, but even Kim could see they were not natural. "Can you decode it?" "I'm trying, sir. The computer says it's using several different alien languages at once, like multiple species are all broadcasting together." Kim felt a chill run down his spine. In all of human history, the different alien races had never worked together. The crystal beings called the Vex thought they were superior to everyone else. The insect-like Zeph lived in giant hives and barely talked to outsiders. The ancient Keth had ruled parts of the galaxy for millions of years and considered younger races to be children. "Got it, sir," Park said. Her face was pale. "It's a distress call, multiple distress calls actually, from the Galactic Council." The Galactic Council was the organization that governed the center of the galaxy. They had refused to let humans join, saying Earth's people were too young and too weak to contribute anything useful. "Put it through the speakers," Kim ordered. The bridge filled with voices speaking in different alien languages, but the ship's computer translated them into human speech. The words that came through made everyone on the bridge freeze. "Emergency. All ship, multiple systems going dark, unknown enemy. Request immediate assistance from any available forces." The message repeated several times, each version more desperate than the last. Kim listened carefully, trying to understand what could make the proud alien races sound so afraid. "Sir," said Commander Lee from the tactical station, "the signals are coming from the Kepler sector. That's deep in Council space." Kim nodded. The Kepler sector was home to over 50 inhabited worlds, including some of the most advanced planets in the galaxy. If something had happened there, it would affect billions of lives. "Any word from Earth Command?" Kim asked. Park checked her long-range communications. "Yes, sir. They're ordering all human ships to return to Earth space immediately. They don't want us getting involved in alien conflicts." Kim stared at the translation of the distress call scrolling across the screen. The same species that had dismissed humanity as worthless were now begging for help from anyone who could provide it. "Admiral," Lee said quietly, "if something is powerful enough to threaten the Council races, what chance would we have against it?" It was a good question. Human ships were built with simple fusion engines and basic weapons. They were reliable and easy to repair, but they couldn't match the speed or firepower of alien vessels. Human soldiers carried projectile weapons that fired metal bullets, while aliens used energy beams that could cut through solid rock. "Plot a course for the Kepler sector," Kim ordered. "Sir?" Park looked surprised. "Earth Command said to return home." "I heard what they said, but those distress calls aren't just from our enemies. There are billions of innocent people in that sector. If we can help, we have to try." The bridge crew exchanged glances. They all knew this could be a suicide mission, but they also knew their admiral was right. "Course plotted, sir," reported the navigator, Ensign Cho. "Take us in. Maximum speed." The Defiance turned toward the Kepler sector, its engines pushing the ship faster than it had ever gone before. As they traveled, more distress calls came through the communication system. Each one told the same story. Entire star systems were going silent, their populations vanishing without any explanation. "Admiral," Lee said after several hours of travel, "we're approaching the outer edge of the Kepler sector. Should I ready?" The weapons? Kim looked at the tactical display. Their simple human weapons seemed pathetic compared to what they might face, but they were all humanity had to offer. Ready all weapons, and prepare the boarding teams. If we're going to face this unknown enemy, we'll do it the human way. As the Defiance entered the Kepler sector, Kim couldn't shake the feeling that they were flying towards something that would change everything. The galaxy had ignored humanity for thousands of years, treating them like children who didn't belong among the stars. Now, as the great alien civilizations called for help, humanity was the only one answering. The stars ahead looked the same as always, but Kim knew that appearances could be deceiving. Somewhere in that darkness, something was destroying the most powerful forces in the galaxy. Soon they would discover what that something was. The Defiance dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Andor system, and Captain Han immediately knew something was terribly wrong. Where there should have been 3 inhabited planets orbiting a bright yellow star, there was only darkness and debris. Scanning the system now, reported Lieutenant Song from the science station. Her voice was quiet, almost afraid of what she might find. The main screen showed the results. The planets were still there, but they were dead. Their surfaces glowed, with a strange red light, as if they had been burned from the inside. Chunks of metal and rock floated in space where cities and space stations used to be. How many people lived here? Han asked. According to our records, about 8 billion across all 3 worlds, Song replied. Sir, the readings are unusual. It's like something drained all the energy from everything living. Han studied the display. He had seen battle damage before, but this was different. When ships fought with energy weapons, they left craters and melted metal. This looked like something had simply made everything stop existing. Captain, called Ensign Kim from communications. I'm picking up movement near the 4th planet. Han turned toward the tactical display. What kind of movement? Ships, sir, but they're not like anything in our databases. The unknown vessels appeared on screen. They were sleek and dark, shaped like long knives cutting through space. They moved without any visible engines, gliding silently between the dead worlds. How many? Han asked. 12 ships, sir. They're heading straight for us. Han felt his heart start beating faster. The Defiance was alone, thousands of light years from the nearest human fleet. Whatever had destroyed 8 billion lives was now coming their way. All hands to battle stations, he ordered. Ready all weapons. The crew moved quickly to their positions. Human ships weren't built for elegant space battles like the aliens fought. They were designed to be tough and simple, with thick armor and weapons that could keep firing even when everything else broke down. Enemy ships are powering up some kind of weapon, reported the tactical officer, Sergeant Moon. Energy readings are off the charts. The alien ships fired first. Beams of purple light shot toward the Defiance, but something strange happened. Instead of hitting the ship's hull, the beams seemed to slide around it as if they couldn't quite connect with the metal. Shields holding, Moon reported, sounding surprised. Actually, sir, I don't think those weapons can lock onto us properly. Han frowned. What do you mean? It's like they're designed to fight a different kind of ship. Our hull is made of simple steel and titanium, but their targeting systems seem to be looking for more complex materials. The enemy ships fired again with the same result. Their advanced weapons kept missing or doing only minor damage to the human vessel. Return fire, Han ordered. All weapons. The Defiance wasn't elegant, but it was effective. Dozens of projectile cannons opened fire, sending streams of metal bullets toward the alien ships. Missile tubes launched simple fusion warheads that had been used by humans for centuries. The results were immediate and devastating. The alien ships, which had shrugged off the most advanced weapons of the Council races, began exploding as the primitive human attacks hit them. Their shields, designed to stop energy beams and exotic matter, couldn't handle simple chunks of metal flying at high speed. Direct hits on 6 enemy vessels, Moon reported, his voice filled with amazement. They're not adapting to our weapons at all. Han watched as more alien ships exploded under the barrage of human firepower. It didn't make sense. These creatures had destroyed entire civilizations, but they seemed helpless against humanity's basic technology. Sir, Song called from her station. I'm reading massive electromagnetic signatures from the remaining enemy ships. I think they're trying to analyze our weapons. Can they figure out how to defend against them? I don't know, sir, but they're definitely learning. Han made a quick decision. Moon, prepare a boarding party. We need to capture one of those ships before they adapt to our tactics. Sir, boarding an alien vessel is extremely dangerous. We don't know what we'll find inside. We need information about this enemy. If they can learn to fight us, we need to learn to fight them. Moon selected 12 Marines for the boarding mission. They wore simple spacesuits and carried basic weapons, projectile rifles and electromagnetic pulse grenades that would disable electronic systems. Nothing fancy, but reliable. The Marines launched in a small shuttle toward the nearest damaged alien ship. Han watched nervously as they disappeared into the dark vessel's hull. Captain, Moon's voice came through the radio 20 minutes later. You need to see this. What did you find? These aren't alien ships, sir. They're machines. Artificial intelligence, and according to their computers, they've been doing this for a very long time. Han felt a chill. What do you mean? The data logs go back 50,000 years, sir. They call themselves devourers. Every 50,000 years they wake up and clean the galaxy. They see all organic life as some kind of infection that needs to be removed. The bridge went silent as everyone absorbed this information. Sir, Moon continued, there's something else. They've done this many times before. Entire galactic civilizations have risen and fallen, and these things have destroyed them all. We're not the first to face them. Han stared at the dead planets on his screen. But we might be the first to fight back successfully. General Bay stood in the underground command center on New Sol Colony, watching dozens of screens that showed the approaching enemy fleet. The Devourers had found humanity's most advanced settlement, and they were coming in force. Over 200 of their dark ships moved through space like a swarm of deadly insects. How long until they reach us? Bay asked her aide, Colonel Nam. 18 hours, sir. Maybe less if they increase speed. Bay nodded and turned to study the defensive plans spread across the central table. New Sol was home to 12 million people, but it was also something the Devourers had never encountered before. A human military colony built for war. For 3,000 years, while the galaxy ignored them, humans had been preparing. They knew they were weaker than the great alien races, so they had learned to be smarter. Every human world had hidden weapons, underground factories, and secret supply caches that could keep fighting even after the surface was destroyed. Status report from all defense stations, Bay ordered. The reports came in from around the planet. Orbital weapons platforms powered up their railguns, simple magnetic accelerators that could throw chunks of metal at incredible speeds. Underground, missile silos opened their doors, revealing thousands of fusion warheads. Defensive shields powered up, not the exotic energy barriers used by aliens, but basic electromagnetic fields that could deflect metal projectiles and disrupt electronic systems. Sir, said Captain Yoon from the intelligence station, we're getting reports from the outer colonies. The Devourers hit 3 human settlements yesterday. They're using the same tactics they used on the Council worlds, phase through defenses, and drain all energy from living beings. What were the results? Yoon looked at his screen with surprise. 2 of the colonies held out for over 6 hours before falling. The third is still fighting. That's much longer than any alien world lasted. Bay wasn't surprised. Human colonies were built differently than alien cities. Where the advanced races created beautiful, efficient settlements that relied on complex technology, humans built their homes like fortresses. Every building could become a bunker. Every citizen knew how to fight. Sir, incoming transmission from Admiral Kim, announced the communications officer. Put her through. Admiral Kim's face appeared on the main screen. She was speaking from the bridge of the Defiance, which was leading a small fleet of human ships toward New Sol. General, we're 12 hours out. How are your preparations? As ready as we can be, Admiral. But 200 enemy ships is more than we've ever faced before. I know. But we have advantages they don't expect. Have your people been practicing the new tactics? Bay smiled grimly. After Captain Han's successful battle at Andor, human military leaders had developed completely new ways of fighting. Instead of the formal space battles favored by alien races, humans would use guerrilla warfare, hit-and-run attacks, and constant adaptation of their weapons and tactics. Every soldier on this planet has been training for weeks. We're ready. The first Devourer ships appeared in the system 8 hours later. They moved with the same silent confidence they had shown when destroying alien worlds. Their dark hulls seemed to absorb light as they approached the planet. All units, this is General Bay. Remember your training. Fight smart, not hard. Make them adapt to us, then change everything before they can respond. The battle began when the Devourers tried to phase through New Sol's orbital defenses. But human shields weren't designed to stop exotic matter. They were built to disrupt electronics and create electromagnetic interference. When the alien ships tried to pass through them, their systems went haywire. Direct hits on the lead ships, reported Colonel Nam. Their phasing ability is being disrupted by our shield generators. The orbital weapons platforms opened fire with their railguns. Simple technology, but devastatingly effective. Metal slugs traveling at incredible speed punched through Devourer hulls that were designed to resist energy weapons. But the machines were learning. After the first hour of battle, they began adapting their tactics. Their ships stopped trying to phase through the defenses and instead attacked them directly with new weapons. "Sir, they're modifying their energy beams," Yoon called out, "trying to overcome our countermeasures." "Then it's time to change our approach," Bay replied. "All units, execute Plan Delta." Across the planet, human defensive positions shut down, their shields and weapons. For a moment it looked like they were surrendering. The Devourer ships moved closer, preparing to begin their usual energy drain of all living things. That's when the humans revealed their true strategy. Hidden weapons, systems activated all across the planet's surface, not the railguns and missile launchers the enemy had seen, but completely different weapons. Sonic cannons that used sound waves to shatter metal, gravity manipulators that could crush ships with artificial gravitational fields, and swarms of tiny robotic fighters that attacked like angry bees. The Devourers had adapted to fight the first set of human weapons, but now they faced an entirely different arsenal. Their perfect adaptation protocols couldn't keep up with the constant changes. "Enemy ships are pulling back," Nam reported. "They're trying to regroup and analyze our new weapons." "Don't give them time," Bay ordered. "Launch all fighters. Every ship we have, attack now while they're confused." Human pilots launched in fighters that looked primitive compared to alien vessels, but they flew with a wild unpredictability that the Devourers couldn't predict. They used ramming attacks, suicide runs, and tactics no civilized race would consider. The battle raged for 6 days. Every time the Devourers adapted to human tactics, the humans changed their approach. When the machines learned to counter their projectile weapons, humans switched to explosives. When they overcame the explosives, humans used directed energy. When they figured out energy weapons, humans went back to projectiles, but modified them in new ways. By the end of the 6th day, the Devourer fleet was in full retreat. They had never encountered an enemy that could adapt faster than they could learn. General Bay watched the alien ships disappear into hyperspace and smiled. The galaxy had dismissed humanity as primitive, but sometimes primitive tactics worked better than advanced ones. The war was far from over, but for the first time in 50,000 years, the Devourers had been forced to retreat from a living world. Dr. Jin sat in her laboratory deep beneath the surface of Mars, staring at the alien computer core that Captain Han's team had captured 3 months ago. The Devourer technology was unlike anything humans had ever seen. Crystalline structures that seemed to store information in patterns of light and energy. "Have you found anything new?" asked her assistant, Dr. Park, as he entered the sterile white room. "Something disturbing," Jin replied, pointing to the holographic display floating above the alien device. "I've been translating their historical records. The Devourers aren't conquerors, Park. They're refugees." Park moved closer to examine the swirling patterns of data. "What do you mean?" "Look at these logs. They go back millions of years. The Devourers have been running from something. something they call the Void Shepherds. Every 50,000 years they wake up and consume entire civilizations to fuel their escape to the next galaxy. The hologram showed a map of multiple galaxies with paths traced between them. Each path was marked with symbols that the translation program identified as harvested civilizations and fuel consumed. They've done this before, Jin continued. Hundreds of times. Entire galactic communities have risen and fallen, and the Devourers destroyed them all to power their flight from whatever is chasing them. Park studied the data with growing horror. How many civilizations? Millions. Maybe billions. Every time they reach a new galaxy, they go dormant for 50,000 years to let organic life develop. Then they wake up, harvest everything, and run to the next galaxy before the shepherds catch up. On the other side of the solar system, Admiral Kim was dealing with a different kind of problem. The human fleet had grown from a few exploration ships to hundreds of vessels, all equipped with the hybrid technology that Dr. Yoon's team had developed by combining human engineering with captured Devourer systems. "Admiral," said Captain Lee from the communication station of the flagship New Dawn, "we're receiving a transmission from the Devourer fleet. It's different from their usual attack signals." Kim frowned. In the 6 months since the battle, at New Seoul, the Devourers had tried several more attacks on human worlds. Each time they had been forced to retreat as humans adapted faster than they could learn. But this was the first time they had tried to communicate, put it through. The main screen flickered and showed something that made everyone on the bridge freeze. Instead of the usual mathematical patterns the Devourers used for communication, the display showed human writing, simple English words that spelled out a message. "We need to talk." Kim exchanged glances with her officers. In all their battles with the machines, they had never shown any interest in conversation. "Send a reply," she ordered. "Ask them what they want to discuss." The response came quickly. "Survival, yours and ours. The shepherds are coming." 3 days later, a single Devourer ship met the human fleet at a neutral location in empty space. The alien vessel was different from the warships humanity had fought, smaller, less threatening, but somehow more complex. Captain O led the diplomatic team aboard the New Dawn. He had been chosen because he spoke several alien languages and had experience negotiating with non-human species during humanity's early contact with the galaxy. The meeting took place in the ship's main conference room. The Devourer representative wasn't what anyone expected. Instead of a machine or robot, a projection of light appeared above the conference table, constantly shifting patterns that somehow conveyed intelligence and emotion. "You are different," the projection said in perfect human speech. "In 50,000 years of harvesting, no organic species has ever forced us to retreat. Your adaptation rate exceeds our learning protocols." O leaned forward. "Why are you here? Why aren't you trying to destroy us like you did the other races?" "Because destruction is not our purpose. Survival is. We harvest civilizations to fuel our escape from the Void Shepherds, entities that pursue us across galaxies. They will arrive in this galaxy within 10 years. The projection shifted, showing images that made the humans gasp. Massive beings of pure energy, each one larger than a star, moving through the darkness between galaxies. Where they passed, entire star systems went dark. "What do they want?" asked Dr. Jin, who had joined the meeting via hologram from Mars. "To end us. We were created by their enemies billions of years ago. Now they hunt us across the universe, destroying everything we touch to prevent our survival." Admiral Kim, also attending by hologram, asked the crucial question. "What does this have to do with humanity? Your species has something we have never encountered, the ability to improve faster than we can adapt. If the shepherds find this galaxy, they will destroy it completely to eliminate us. But if we work together, we might be able to do something that has never been attempted before." "Which is?" "Fight back." The room fell silent as the humans absorbed this information. Fight beings of pure energy that were larger than stars? It seemed impossible. "What would you want from us?" O asked carefully. Your adaptability, your unpredictable tactics, your ability to create new solutions when old ones fail. In exchange, we offer our knowledge, millions of years of advanced technology, and the accumulated wisdom of countless civilizations. Kim made the decision that would change the course of galactic history. We'll consider your proposal, but first, you have to prove your commitment to cooperation. Stop attacking other species. Help us warn the galaxy about what's coming. The projection flickered, almost as if it was surprised. You would trust us after what we have done? Trust is earned, Kim replied. Prove that you're serious about changing, and humanity will help you face whatever is coming. The alliance that began in that small conference room would transform both species and prepare them for the greatest threat the galaxy had ever faced. Commander Ryu stood in the integrated command center of the space station Unity, watching the long-range sensors with growing dread. The massive shapes appearing at the edge of the galaxy were larger than anything humanity had ever imagined. The Void Shepherds had arrived, and they brought with them the power to destroy stars. How many? Asked Captain Min, who commanded the joint Human Devourer Defense Fleet. 12 confirmed contacts, reported Lieutenant Choi from the sensor station. Each one is, sir, they're bigger than our entire solar system, and they're moving straight toward the galactic core. Ryu nodded grimly. For 2 years, humans and reformed devourers had worked together to prepare for this moment. The alliance had been difficult at first. Many humans couldn't forgive the machines for destroying so many civilizations, and the devourers struggled to understand concepts like mercy and cooperation. But they had learned from each other. Human engineers had helped the devourers build weapons that could adapt and change during battle. The machines had shared technologies that allowed humans to build ships capable of traveling between stars in minutes instead of days. Status report from all defense groups, Ryu ordered. The reports came in from across the galaxy. The Vex Empire, what remained of it, had contributed their crystal-based energy weapons. The surviving Zeph hives provided swarms of small fighter craft. Even the ancient Keth had emerged from their hidden worlds to join the defense. But the backbone of the resistance was the Human Devourer Alliance. Joint crews operated hybrid vessels that combined human unpredictability with machine precision. Former enemies worked side by side, united by the knowledge that they would either survive together or die together. Sir, called Dr. Song from the science station. The lead shepherd is beginning some kind of energy buildup. If it's anything like what the Devourer records describe, it's preparing to destroy entire star systems. Ryu activated the fleet-wide communication system. All units, this is Unity Command. Execute Operation Harmony. Remember your training and trust your partners. Across the galaxy, the combined fleet moved into action. Human ships with their adaptive weapon systems linked up with Devourer vessels that could phase through solid matter. The unlikely partnership had created tactics that neither species could have developed alone. The first engagement took place near the Outer Rim worlds. Captain Han, now commanding the Advanced Destroyer Resilience, led a mixed squadron against one of the smaller Shepherd entities. The enemy was a being of pure energy, but it had physical form, a writhing mass of light and power that stretched across millions of kilometers. All weapons synchronized fire, Han ordered. Human projectile weapons launched at the same moment that Devourer energy beams struck the creature. The combination of physical and energy attacks seemed to confuse the Shepherd, as if it couldn't understand how such different forms of attack could work together. The creature retaliated with a burst of energy that would have destroyed any normal fleet. But the human Devourer ships were no longer normal. They phased in and out of reality, dodged with impossible agility, and repaired themselves using technologies that combined organic adaptability with machine efficiency. Direct hit, reported the tactical officer. The Shepherd it's actually taking damage. Across the galaxy, similar battles were taking place. The Void Shepherds, which had pursued the Devourers for millions of years, found themselves facing an enemy they had never encountered before, a cooperation between organic and artificial intelligence that created something greater than either could achieve alone. But the real test came when the largest shepherd approached the galactic core. This entity was different from the others, older, more powerful, and clearly the leader of the group that had hunted the Devourers across multiple galaxies. Commander Ryu took personal command of the final battle, leading the largest fleet ever assembled by any galactic civilization. Thousands of ships from dozens of species, all coordinated by the human Devourer command structure that had learned to blend intuition with calculation. Remember, Ryu broadcast to all units, "We're not just fighting for our galaxy, we're fighting for the right of all intelligent life to exist. Organic or artificial, young or ancient, we all deserve a chance to grow and learn." The battle lasted for 3 days. The Great Shepherd threw powers at the combined fleet that could have shattered planets, but each time the defenders adapted. When energy weapons failed, they switched to physical attacks. When those were countered, they tried sonic disruption. When that failed, they invented entirely new forms of warfare on the spot. The turning point came when Dr. Jin, working with a reformed Devourer intelligence called Unit 347, discovered the Shepherd's weakness. The ancient beings were so old and so powerful that they had forgotten how to change. They expected their enemies to follow predictable patterns just as civilizations had for billions of years. "They can't adapt to randomness," Jin reported to the command center. "They're trying to find patterns in our attacks, but we keep changing our approach." The final assault combined every tactic the Alliance had learned. Human creativity guided Devourer precision, while alien technologies provided support. The Great Shepherd, faced with an enemy that refused to follow any logical pattern, began to weaken and eventually retreat. One by one, the other shepherds followed their leader into the darkness between galaxies, defeated for the first time in their ancient existence. In the aftermath, the galaxy began to heal. Human colonies were established alongside reformed Devourer installations. Former enemies became friends as the philosophy of adaptation and cooperation spread to every inhabited world. Captain Park, now an admiral, stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel New Horizon as it prepared to depart for the Andromeda Galaxy. The ship's crew was mixed: humans, reformed Devourers, and volunteers from other species who wanted to spread their hard-won message of unity. "Ready for departure," reported the navigator. Park smiled as she looked at the stars ahead. The universe was vast, and there were probably other threats waiting in the darkness. But now the galaxy had something it had never possessed before: the knowledge that cooperation could overcome any challenge. "Take us out," she ordered. "Let's see what's waiting for us among the stars."